Hey guys, Huzz here bringing you another video. Now today's extra video is a league discussion, so the series I take a topic, rip it apart with my own opinions and experiences, and encourage you guys to share your own experiences or stories in the comment section below. Now today, we're going to be covering a topic that somebody sent me a message maybe 2 days ago, and it was a private message basically saying that they've only played League for about a year, so they obviously don't know a lot about the history or what it was like in the past, and they wanted to know that you know, they've heard me mention I used to be Diamond 1 back in Season 3, and now I'm back in Diamond 1 in Season 7. Is there any differences? Do they feel the same, or how different is it? And I thought that's a pretty good topic, so I messaged the guy back saying that's a great topic. Instead of just, you know, writing it down here, I'll make a whole video on it and give my thoughts so other people can either kind of get involved and also learn as well, I suppose. So what I'd say is there isn't smoke without fire, meaning I wouldn't be making this video if it was exactly the same. So there are differences, and there are actually quite a lot of differences. And I will say, this is going off memory, obviously. Back in Season 3, that would have been, God, what, 4 odd years ago now, technically. So that is a while ago, so it is going off my memory. You know, I'm not an old man, I still can remember quite well, so I think my memory does serve me well. And yeah, we're just going to go over some differences. So let's just go over the big basic one. Gameplay. How is the gameplay different? Gameplay-wise, Diamond 1 now is much tougher than it was 4 odd years ago in Season 3, but that's natural. If you actually take 2 minutes to think about it, that will be the same for any division in League of Legends. A bronze player now will be better than a bronze player back then. A platinum player now will be better than a platinum player back then. That's just natural with a game having an increased game time, because the community as a whole gets better, therefore everybody's rating, in a way, you know, the game shifts in skill way up, but not necessarily your rating. So if you've been playing since Season 3 and you were silver in Season 3 and you're silver now, you would have got better at the game, but your rating just hasn't changed because everybody else has also got better. So yes, the game has got better. I'll say right now it might just be due to the meta, potentially, but there are less individual carries in League of Legends nowadays than what there used to be in Season 3. I remember, obviously, Season 3 was a little bit of a different meta. It was known as the glory days of League of Legends, where the assassin meta, and it was just fun. Like, it was a very fun Season 3. I remember, I you know, remember it fondly, and every single game you can guarantee somebody was carrying the game, where nowadays it's much more of a team effort. Games are won more as a team now than they ever have been. And what I will also further add is, if Dynamic Q last season wasn't a thing, I think the game would even be more skillful. I think obviously Dynamic Q put a little bit of a stop, especially into the higher ratings. And this, you know, again, I'm talking here about Diamond 1. Dynamic Q last season, it made a lot of people in high rating just stop caring about the game, myself included. So maybe people didn't get worse in Season 6, but they definitely didn't really get better because they just didn't care. Many of my friends this season have come back to playing solo queue, where they didn't even play last season. They maybe played 10 or 20 games and then realized this sucks and then just stopped playing for the whole season. And they said, you know, I'll come back when solo queue comes back, and now they're back. So yeah, the game itself, it's got a lot better in terms of skill, but then also it's more of a team game than it used to be, less of a solo game. So that's a big thing with gameplay. Second thing is toxicity. Toxicity has 100% gone up from what I remember. But again, I would say this is natural for any game life cycle. You know, the bigger the community, it's harder to manage. Therefore, toxicity naturally will probably go up. Again, we fully don't know what's happening with the Riot Tribunal. I will just say I am getting the daily, like literally a daily pop-up of someone you have reported has been punished. So the report system is working, but it would be nice to have our tribunal back. That, you know, if you were not around with the tribunal, basically, in essence, it's very similar to what Counter-Strike Go has with I can't remember what it's called, but you basically review cases as a player. And then if hundreds or if not thousands of players review the same case and they all feel the same way, that player will get punished. So it's a community system, which worked very well from my knowledge, but they took it down. It was one of the things Riot Light did. He took it down for some reason, and they said it's coming back, but they said it's coming back like 3 years ago, and it's yet to come back. But I will give Riot some credit. You know, recently, you know, we had the replay system, you know, all different systems that everybody was like, oh, I wish this was in League. They literally came up with like 3 or 4 systems and things that we've wanted for years. Training mode and stuff like this. So maybe Tribunal will be a next season thing. They've nailed training mode. They've nailed replay systems. They've nailed a couple of them. Solo queue is back. Maybe in next season, season 8, that will be when the Tribunal returns. But yeah, toxicity has definitely gone up, and I would say I think I know why, apart from just the natural progression of toxicity. I think it has to do with the added rank. And what I mean by this, just to explain, back in Season 3, when I was Diamond 1, Diamond 1 was the highest rank you could get apart from Challenger. Master did not exist, and Challenger, if, again, my memory serves correct, was only the top 50 players on your server. Top 50. Like, right now it's the top 200 is Challenger, but back then it was the top 50, and there was no Master tier. So majority of Diamond 1 players that were not professionals had no... nobody wanted to get Challenger because nobody was like... They weren't going to get it. Like, they wouldn't be able to put enough into the game to get Challenger. Even in today's standards, you need to put a crazy amount of time to get Challenger even now. But it was even more back then because it was only the top 50 people, where also there was no Master tier. So a lot of people that got Diamond 1, they were happy with Diamond 1. They didn't really need to go higher because 1, they thought they'd never get Challenger, and 2, that was it. They were in basically the highest rating apart from the top 50 players. But when they introduced Master tier, they introduced to Diamond 1 what I call the Platinum effect. So the Platinum effect is something that I call, is when nobody really wants to be Platinum, therefore Platinum is known as a very toxic rating. If you don't know, Platinum is one of the most toxic ratings in the game. The reason for it is because people don't want to be in Platinum. You either want to be Gold, because you're a casual ranked player, let's say, and you just want to get the rewards. You've got the Victorious skin, and you're happy with Gold. Great. Good. If you're Platinum, firstly, you get that reward. You get a border that doesn't look very good, but then you're close to Diamond. Diamond is kind of, let's say, the bigger step up, is where, I don't know, people start respecting you a lot more when you get Diamond in League, I guess. So nobody wants to be Platinum because you get the same rewards as Gold apart from the border, yet everybody else wants to be Diamond. So that's why Platinum is known as being quite toxic, is because nobody wants to be Platinum. You either have people that are Gold and they're happy with that, or you want to be Diamond. That's what's wrong with Platinum, and that's the same with Diamond 1 nowadays. Nobody wants to be Diamond 1, and still, it's an amazing rating. You know, you're still in the top 0.4% of your server if you're in Diamond 1, which is, again, less than the top 1%. You're in the top 1,500 players on your server. And just to put that into perspective, into some numbers, I am currently around rank 1,500, roughly, on EU West. In terms of amount of players played, there's millions upon millions upon millions. But when it comes to actual people that play ranked, on EU West, there is around 3 million players a month that play ranked on EU West. And I'm in the top 1,500 in Diamond 1. So Diamond 1 is still a phenomenal rank, but because Master exists and there is no maximum players on Master, nobody wants to be Diamond 1 anymore. Everybody wants to get Master. And I think that adds to the toxicity. As I'll say, including myself, I have been 1 game away from Master Promo this season 4 times. And again, I don't believe that teammates hold you back, but occasionally teammates will cause you to lose games. They won't be the reason that you're a certain rating. If you're good, you'll climb. But occasionally they are going to lose the game for you. And unfortunately, I think 3 of the games that I was 1 winner away from Master, unfortunately my team did let me down a few of those stages, and I can see, if you are a little bit of a more emotionally unstable person than I am, I could see where people are going to start to rage, because that's their Master tier, they don't want to be Diamond 1 anymore, and people will start raging out. I can kind of see that. I still don't understand it, because it's a video game after all, but that's where I could see rage happening. And that, yeah, that's pretty much it. And then the final point that I want to make. Okay, sorry about that. I just had to fully remember what point I was trying to make. The final point that I want to make, and again, it's one of the biggest differences. I'm just going over the 3 biggest differences to me. And again, this is going off memory, is the topic of one-trick ponies. Now, I don't want to trigger people here. If you're a one-trick pony, fair enough. be one. I personally am never a fan of them, never have been. And I will say I'm not completely biased because I used to be one myself. If you are unaware, basically back in Season 1, I only played Fiddlesticks. I then kind of came to my senses. Season 2, I dropped Fiddlesticks completely and just became a normal champion pool player. But from Season 3 to now, the amount of one-trick ponies is crazy more. Like, there's at least 2 one-trick ponies on your team in most games now. It's not fun for a player like me because, one, I don't like playing with one-tricks either on my team or the enemy team. 2, it makes you have to play in a very certain playstyle. And 3, stereotype incoming, one-tricks tend to be a little bit more toxic than the average player. The reason for it, and I do think I have the reason a lot of the time, 1, if they get their champion, they're very cocky because they're like, I'm on my champion, this is the only champion I play, bow before my knees. But if they don't get their champion, they're even more toxic because it's, I don't have my champion. I'm kind of, in their head, they're circulating, oh, I'm not going to do well, I'm useless, blah, blah, blah. So then they just become toxic. So the reason for more one tricks, just to kind of add, I think there's 2 points. 1 is because people value rating more than being good at the game nowadays. Back in the day, Season 3, sure, everybody wanted rating, but everybody just wanted to be a good player of League. That was enough. Being a good player of League is having like a great champion pool and stuff like that. But now people really want to just get high rating. I see it in my comment section all the time. Huz, which champion should I main? It's like, well, that's not how it works. You just play what you're good at and then you'll probably go up. But everybody just cares about rating because they want that shiny badge or that EP, whatever it may be. And that's why they one-trick. Because I will say, I don't think one-tricking is an easier way of going up in rating, but it's definitely easier for you as a player. And what I mean by that is, look at me for an example. I play around 20 to 25 champions at any given time. That I could just pick one of these champions and be okay with playing it. But if you're a one-trick, you're only playing 1. That's it. So it's a lot easier. You only need to know 1 champion. You only need to know item builds for 1 champion, matchups for 1 champion, rune pages for 1 champion. So it's a lot easier in that aspect. And I think that's why a lot of people do one trick. Another reason why I think people do one trick more now than they used to be is because of the new rank system in picking your roles. Back in the day in Season 3, when you didn't go into ranked picking mid or top, you just queued up, you didn't know what role you were going to get. Yes, that you could say prefer mid, but you might be last pick. You might have to play something completely random, and that was it. So you had to have, basically, a champion pool in Season 3 was 100% needed. Because you didn't guarantee you're going to get top or mid with only occasionally getting auto-filled. Back then, you were basically auto-filled in every single game, just hoping that you got your role if you were in the pick order correctly. So I think that's what's happened. And people will probably say, what do I prefer? Yeah, I prefer the old system. Everybody knows that. I don't like the whole fact of picking your roles. I liked when everybody played a lot of champions. Because, again, it's slightly controversial, but I will never call a one-trick pony a good player unless I can see them playing other champions as well as their main, or as good as, or as at least they can hold their own. But if you take a Shaco player, again, I'm not, picking just randomly, Shaco is a very one-tricked champion. If you take a Shaco player and go, okay, now go play Lee Sin, go play this, go play that. If they say, oh, I can't do that, then to me, you're not a good player. You're just a good Shaco player. To me, there's a difference there. To a lot of people, they don't care because they just want the rating. But that's pretty much it. Those are the differences to me. So again, gameplay and skill has gone up. Toxicity has gone up, and the amount of one-tricks has gone up. Those are the biggest 3 differences to me personally between Diamond 1 in Season 3 and Diamond 1 now. And I'll say, if you guys are in the same rating that you have been for a few years, what are the differences to you? Let me know. If you, even if you're gold years ago and still are gold, has anything changed? Let me know. Let's have a conversation in the comments as always. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you do enjoy these commentaries or discussion videos, throw a like on the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time. See ya.